Yeah, na hivyo ndivyo tulihama our first beautiful space.
Wow.
That was like in March 2019. Sasa tukaanza kutafuta space. Hapo ndio ili ni hit. Kumbe I run an arts business, and arts business is not a conventional business. Unazunguka tao, unasema si ni wasanii tunatafuta space. First of all, mtu anakuangalia, anashindwa utalipa rent na
Usanii lipi? Kila mtu anajua usanii lipi.
Wanasema
the other thing unakwambia, "Hey, wasanii kelele." Hatutaki kelele. Kuna lawyers hapa, kuna serious offices hapa, hatutaki kelele. So tuli struggle, by the way, like because I think this space tuko tuliingia June ama July.
What's up, Wave Riders? Welcome to the Tide Clique Podcast.
How you guys doing?
let me tell you one thing.
When your husband anakuwa parent. Men, muna cheat kutushinda.
Why do you fear men?
We are the Clique gang.
Shaanza kusmile. Oh, bring it on, darling.
Hello, Wave Riders. Welcome to another episode 52. Karibuni. And before we go even far, subscribe kama wewe si subscriber, si ndio? Kijana wako mpole Joe.
Anko yako Maxi.
Anko ya nani?
Anko yako.
Tafadhali. Please. And today we have a guest. Daily Nation walimuita Mombasa Rebel Queen.
Alikuwa maandamano.
Ndio nashindwa atuambie why. So, karibu.
Asante sana. My name is Caroline.
Okay.
Some people call me Caro, some people call me Caroline, some people call me Ngorobi.
And Daily Nation calls you Mombasa Rebel Queen.
Yeah, journalists decided.
Okay, what was the reason behind the name?
I don't know what the writer's idea was, but I would think probably it's informed from my work. Being in a space that's not very conforming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mombasa Rebel. I read the article. The article, by the way, was nice. Personally, I know you as the theater producer.
Joe, you see, as a journalist, we get our writings, or the headlines from what you do. So for the writer to come up with that name, there is something specific that you are engaged in. Please enlighten us. Break to us what you do in details. Maybe from there you'll know why she was called
Mombasa Rebel Queen.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm a theater producer. I'm a theater producer, but mainly I'm a theater practitioner because I direct, I produce, I used to perform. I've been in this space a bit, and I'm the founder of Jukwaa Arts Productions.
Oh.
So my work is around using the arts to speak about issues. So probably.
Anaweza tuma CV.
Tuma tutaona. Don't call us. We'll call you.
At least to warn it too. There is some hope when they see your CV, even if they say no, but with some good English, it gives you hope.
Unatuma CV when offer
Joe, I can shoot, I can edit, I can write. What else? I can make noise.
You can also make. But then, Carol, you can also shoot, no?
No, I'm not a filmmaker at all. I am a theater. Live performance is what I know.
Live performance.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
But ikikuja kwa your professional, like what you studied, did you do like masters? Because I know you hold a master's, right?
I did arts, but I did communication.
Communication.
Oh, yeah.
Pale comrade. UN.
UN.
Yeah. You know a guy called Moses?
Moses wa UN.
I think Joe is the same a line of people who go to US and they see a black person and then they tell you, I have a friend from Zambia. Do you know him?
No, imagine if somebody went to UN and did like bachelor's in communication, mass communication.
Which branch?
Okay, main campus. I'm assuming you went to Nairobi campus.
You are assuming.
Yeah,
okay?
You're assuming. You're also assuming we went to the same years.
So you make assumptions.
No, Moses is that old. Like alikuanga hapo. Like ungeingia hapo kwa reception ni Moses ako hapo. Naenda alikuwa anasaidia watu kama uko na missing marks.
Sikuwahi pata missing marks.
Kupata okay. Si tulikuwa nasumbana na missing marks.
So stop assumptions.
So why did you decide to go to art?
Haukuwa unajua
Arts
maths?
found me.
Oh, the arts found you.
I'm an A student.
My excuse in doing graphics, in doing communication was because me and mathematics were two.
Mliondokaniana.
Now, what happened in a fourth year, I had a unit in statistics. There was mathematics within the communication studies. Now I was seeing bad things.
Yeah.
But actually, I passed with the flying colors. There was a day I went to exam room with the exam. No, it was a cut without a calculator, and I got 18 out of 20.
Lakini tunajua maths ilikuwa inakulema. Acha tusikie
Ask me how.
the reason why Caro actually went to arts.
So before I joined campus, nilikuwa na act already.
Okay.
I went to campus your time yenye mlikuwa mnangoja 2 years ndio mwingie uni. So that between high school and uni, I started acting. That's where I started acting. So I think by the time nilikuwa na join campus, nilikuwa najua, I was called to do food science and technology. That's what I was called to do in campus. But nika change. Juu already interests zangu zilikuwa zimechange. At that time, nilikuwa nadhani nataka kuwa Catherine Kasavuli specifically. That's what I wanted to do. So
The dream was there.
that was the dream, which later changed. But that's what made me move from the BSc to the BA. Yeah.
You see, we have a culture in Kenya after Form 4. You either do computer packages, you can do driving, and beauty, just hairdressing, whereby you can plait hairs. So, but for you, it chose art. So I was there a specific driving force, driving you to do maybe the acting, the theater, and everything after Form 4.
Okay, so mimi after when I finished school, I think most of my friends and peers watu walikuwa wanaenda kufanya either CPAs na French pale Alliance. That was, I think, most guys who finished school around the same time. That's what many guys went to do. So mimi, I was more inclined to languages. Nilianza kufanya Spanish.
Española.
Yeah, that's what I first did immediately. But I loved theater all along. So I used to go to the theater to watch plays. Nilikuwa na save fare, na buy ticket, naenda na watch shows. Hivyo tu ndio niliongea na director.
Umeanza kujituma
Weekend
kitambo.
auditions. Yeah, so I think it's just been an interest I've had for a long time.
That's nice. Nice. So now ulijipataje coast?
Coast relocate. Love brought me to the coast.
Love wins.
What is love?
I've been telling you
What
people,
is love?
love wins. I've been telling you every now and then, believe in love. You are, kwanza wewe unanipinga kila siku. I get a woman.
Wait, relax. So the guy you were dating at that time, alikuwa na stay coast, ama you guys decided to move to coast?
Jamani. Aya. Sote tulikuwa UN lakini alimove coast na nika move coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then sasa ndo hapo ukaanzisha Jukwaa, or this was some later on?
So I was in theater for a long time. Nikiwa Nairobi, I started a theater company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that lasted like 2 or 3 years. So when I came to Mombasa, nilikuwa bado narudi kuproduce shows Nairobi. And then that's when I decided now to just settle here. And yeah, it was every month I was on the bus going to Nairobi. Sunday night after show, nimepanda basi, nimerudi Mombasa. So ndio nikamua tu, okay, let me explore.
Yeah. And actually, also, just to add on that, hiyo ya kutoka hapa, unatoka coast, unarudi Nairobi, it's doable. Kama SGR ingekuwa inakimbia haki.
I've been doing it, I'm still doing it. That journey is hectic.
Hiyo journey ni
I'm on the road almost
sana.
weekly.
Because like for the last 2 weeks I've been in Nairobi, but also I have like some things that I'm supposed to be doing in Mombasa. So I have to try and like balance myself, like how I'll be in Nairobi and how I'll be. Mimi tu shida yangu ni SGR ikimbii vizuri. Hiyo kitu napaswa inapiga 200 kilometers per hour.
Ipiga hata 3 hours, si ndio?
Yeah, at least 3 hours. Then
Tunafanya shule.
yes, mtu anaweza, like you can be able to stay in Mombasa or even stay in Nairobi and be doing your things katikati.
Yeah, true. But also there was that, of course, the moving up and down, but also nilikuwa na feel, okay, so now that I'm here more days, nafanya nini huku? And what's the theater scene like? Let me just try.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was it like when you were opening? Ama when you decided to start now?
So, of course, I had experience producing.
Yeah,
but then
back
this
in
was
Nairobi,
this was a different space. So ilikuwa nika kuanzia from
scratch.
scratch. From scratch. So like the first play I did was in 2015. Yeah, so that's why this year we're celebrating 10 years.
Oh, nice.
Jukwaa Arts, yeah. So the first play was in 2015. Na especially the marketing bit. Okay, it started with auditioning artists because now sijui artists from Mombasa.
Yeah.
So to really have I knew a few artists because previously as an actor, I'd worked for SIF. SIF is a theatre company also that was in Nairobi. So niliwork SIF Ghetto alafu nikakuja SIF Pwani slightly. So I just knew like 3, 4, 5 people. So nilienda to Little Theatre. Now that's where I first did the first auditions as artists. So I had the artists and then I had a director at least who I knew already.
Okay.
So for that first show he directed, mine was mainly to sell and trying to get the people. So nilizunguka nilifanya footwork hii Mombasa.
Just to get at least watu watokeze. So to get people to come for the audition ama to come for your first show?
For the play.
Okay.
Yeah, the artists we got through an open call audition pale theatre. Hiyo tulipata wasanii. Lakini sasa getting you have a show, it has to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
so
sell
selling
few
tickets
and all that.
Yeah.
The marketing aspect of the,
The
show.
marketing aspect is what made me know Mombasa. Yeah, I used to wake up najiambia, aya, so leo tunaenda which direction? Okay.
Now, when it comes to the marketing aspect of the show, how do you describe the marketing environment in Mombasa? How do people respond to art events whereby you have to curate it in a manner that the audience will get the value for their money?
Mombasa iko na lovers of art.
Yeah.
Wako. They're in different spaces. They consume. Like I think in Mombasa tuko na a very diverse audience. Kuna watu wa kwenda beach, kuna watu wa kwenda Mama Ngina, kuna watu wa kwenda... Like tuko very diverse. So we have wale wenye wanajua theatre already. Okay. Tuko na wale wenye wanajua theatre already. The ones who maybe went to school out of Mombasa or who have experienced theatre elsewhere. So those ones are not easy to convert. Then tuko na wale hawajui kabisa, wanakuuliza so theatre ni nini, ni vitimbi mnafanya ama ni nini, ni kama ile drama ya shule. So kuna how, and that's up to now. There are people we still have to explain to what exactly is theatre. So yeah, tuko na hiyo very wide audience and marketing is continuous.
Okay.
Yeah, it's even now.
It's more of a continuous process. You can't say that you'll put a stop to it. You'll have to always invest in marketing.
You have to.
In your field, you deal more with artists, right? You deal more with people. And kudili na wasanii ni ngumu. Definitely. Sindo, kuna hizo back and forth kidogo. How do you go through that? How do you ensure that I'm sure hapo ni lazima ukuwe na high EQ, emotional intelligence, ama mtakuwa mnajam kila siku. How do you maneuver around all that scenario with wasanii?
I intend to write a book when I turn 60. Experience zangu za kudeal na wasanii.
Ni ngumu.
Mimi naogopa wasanii.
Nimelan over the years. Lakini, I think probably one of the biggest turning points for me ni kuonyesha wasanii that hii ni job.
Yeah.
So you treat kama job. Ungekuwa employed bank, utaenda uvute bangi ama ukunywe ndio sasa ukuje job zi. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So I think the moment we made it very clear, manze hii ni job. Hii space yetu ni job. I think kata ushekuja space yetu tuko na very clear signs imeandikwa no drugs, just art. Those ones are on the wall because iyo tu watu tu wajue, na even not just about drugs or anything, but even how you conduct yourself, how you deal with other people in the space. Your respect to mutual respect.
Yeah.
Juu sote tunabeba baggage every day.
Yeah.
So siu sema we have a mirror in our space and we're like, when you get into the door, look at yourself in that mirror, leave your baggage hapo. alafu sasa ndio uingie job hiyo tu kuitreat kama job wasi wakikama wanajua na kam job so hata chelewa hata expect sasa ni kam nimeshinda tu kwa phone juu niko kwa space ya art cause mi sitakwambia ati sijui dress vipi ama nini cause maybe it's not our space it's not that kind of industry but conduct yourself in a way that you know that uko job hiyo ndio I think imetusaidia kudeal na artists because artists all of us are very egoistic. I mean we are good at something so kila mtu akona an ego and unajua ukitoa the ego from an artist then this is being an artist. Msanii lazima akuwe na hiyo ego.
Kiburi fulani
lazima ukuwe na hiyo ego inakusaidia as an like that's what makes you an artist. So ni hiyo tu kukumbusha watu that manze tuko job na lazima to respect each other's art, each other's strengths.
That's true. And I know right now it's a big team. Like Jukwaa has a big team, like in terms of performance, like the artists there, they're doing amazing jobs. Pata like doing their own things. But before Tufike, right now, where you guys are performing at the Open Seas, tutakuja hapo. 2015, you're starting the Jukwaa. First of all, how did you come up with the name, right? And did you like currently where you are like located pale town, was it the space you originally got in 2015 ama you had to transition from one space to another? Like give us that journey. Ilikuwaje?
Before you answer, I know there's always a huge problem when trying to decide a business name or a company name or any name that you want to use in your day-to-day operations. That's why you find funny names in our businesses and you wonder, hey, isa ulifikiriaje boys? How did you come up with Jukwaa?
Oje Jukwaa ni stage.
Definitely the stage.
So it's just that I think
Open
probably
kufikiria
was just simple like it's
You didn't
stage
overthink
arts.
it.
I do
No
because
overthinking.
kuna ku overthink. So we overthink and spoil.
Exactly.
Kweli,
So it's simply that it's stage arts. Tunafanya live performance. So show zote za kwa Jukwaa. Sawa, Jukwaa Arts it is tuende nalo. Pia I think sikuwa na time mingi sana ya ku-overthink.
It's hit the ground running.
I needed to do a poster.
Actually you came up with the name when you're doing the poster.
No, when I wanted to do some workshops. So that's when I came up with the name. Nilikuwa nafaa kubook social hall.
Okay. So
kufanya workshops za theater because that's where it actually began. Nilikuwa nafanya workshops tudogo za theater. So nikibook nashindwa inaandika nini? So then I was like, okay, maybe this thing needs to be more serious. I need to register it and all that. So that's a point when.
So initially you were booking social halls. So you didn't have a permanent place.
No, I was actually coming to that set of questions. So when we began, the first activities I ever did were at a social hall, Kongoea Social Hall to be precise. And then ndio nikaenda theater sasa kufanya the first play. So of course we were domiciled at the theater rehearsal space. Muna rehearse uko chini ya miti nini.
Chini ya miti ni it's a hall, ama?
No, chini ya miti ni under trees. That is Swahili for under the tree.
Ni vizuri kuuliza. There's some places called chini ya mti.
Okay, sasa chini ya miti.
Ama ni literally chini ya mti.
Literally under the tree.
Under
because
the tree.
If you've been to the Little Theatre, there are two main spaces. There's the auditorium and the dance studio, which are booked for performances.
Okay.
So you can't book them for rehearsal. You can't even afford kulipia ati murihas kwa auditorium, uta afford hizo rates. So the easiest place is to just rehearse huko kwa hizo spaces. The spaces where you're not being charged, the grounds under those trees and just be on the corridors. So that's how and it still happens even now. So that's where we started. Till 2017.
Okay.
Is when we got our first space. So at that point, the theater was closed for renovations.
Okay.
So katuacha hakuna sasa hata hakuna place hata hiyo chini ya mti sasa hatuwezi access. You know the place has been closed for renovations. So that's when I started now thinking, okay, maybe this is an option. This is time for us to get a space. It was a big risk, but tukatafuta space, tukapata pale ile building yetu Polana in town.
Yeah.
Tukapata space moja deadly sana. Ilikuwa basement. Alalalala. All the artists will remember that space. Your space. It was dark. No network.
Kiwa pale
No
uko off the
air.
grid, eh?
Oh my goodness, uko off grid kabisa. Amsumbuani na wasanii ati tokeni kwa simu
Tokeni kwa
turehearse.
simu.
Hata afungue
Uko
data,
mteja.
haiko-
Ukiingia hapo uko mteja. So ilikuwa mali basement. Was it basement 2 ama ilikuwa basement? Yeah, I think it was basement. Like it was in the basement
Yeah.
kabisa. It was very dark. We really liked that space because I think it was the first time we actually had a space. So
Your
tulikuwa
space, like
tunashinda hapo.
unaweza ita your own. Like you can do your practice up to
we
late
can
nights and all
rehearse
that.
there. Like you have a place to report in the morning at 8 mumefika hapo. You spend the whole day there. It was next to us kulikuwa na mama anapika hapo, kulikuwa na printing firms around us. So it was very
Very busy place and chaotic in a way.
chaotic. Chaotic is the word. Kulikuwa sasa stima ikilost amwezi kaa because amwezi kaa bila fun.
Yeah, it's dark. Amwezi onana.
And it's dark. Tulikuwa tunashinda hapo sometimes jioni ukitoka una realize kumbe kulinyesha na giza ilishaingia. Like you guys don't know anything happening outside there. But it's a nice space we loved. Tukakaa hapo hadi 2019. Sa 2019 I was on my way to work hiyo siku. Napigiwa na huyo madha wa kupika mwenye alikuwa hapo next. Akaniambia, Karo uko wapi? Nikamwambia niko bridge na come. Kaniambia harakisha tumepewa 2 hours to vacate this building. I'm like,
2 hours.
yeah.
Why?
2 hours, yeah.
Karo, mko mnalipa rent?
You would think so. But kumbe hii building ilikuwa a condemned building. Na NSSF I think ndio walikuwa wenye building, but they had leased it to now the person who was our landlord.
Yeah.
So there was something there that we never got to know because kufika tao ukweli watu walikuwa wanatoa everything. Everybody, there was a supermarket hapo chini. Everybody, like
Everybody
the
on the
whole
supermarkets.
building, even the residential houses, there were a few residential houses juu. We all vacated on that day. That was a turning point kidogo kwetu because
Na sahii ni katikati ya mwezi, mwisho wa mwezi.
ilikuwa kwanza usinikumbushe juu bado
Unajua nauliza hii ndo nijue
I had just paid rent. Tulikuwa tumelipa rent the previous week.
Ndio mmelipa tu rent
Manze.
like last week,
Yes.
then mnaambiwa yo.
Alafu tunaambiwa saizo of course hata landlord wenu hayuko area.
Ameenda missing. Haizi
Sasa
patikana.
hawapatikani, tumepewa 2 hours to vacate. You don't even know where you're going, mko na vitu kwa ofisi nini. So tukajaribu tu tukamove stuff, spoke to some few friends watuweke vitu zetu. Yeah, na hivyo ndivyo tulihama our first beautiful space.
Wow.
That was like in March 2019. Ndio sasa tukaanza kutafuta space. Hapo ndio ili ni hit. Kumbe I run an arts business and arts business is not a conventional business. Unazunguka tao, unasema si ni wasanii tunatafuta space. First of all, mtu anakuangalia, anashindwa utalipa rent na
Usanii lipi? Kila mtu anajua usanii lipi.
Ukiambiwa good to- wanasema,
the other thing unakwambia, "Ai wasanii kelele." Hatutaki
noise,
kelele. Kuna lawyers hapa, kuna serious offices hapa, hatutaki kelele. So tuli struggle by the way like because I think this space tuko tuliingia June ama July. So we stayed out for like 3-4 months tukitafuta space.
But it wasn't something new because mmezoea kuperform chini ya mti.
But tulikuwa tushazoea comfort ya being in our space. So we didn't
Unajua,
want to.
sometimes God has to bring you back to where you came from. Ndio ujue tu the worth like pale anakufikisha. But okay.
So finally ndio tukapata hii space yenye tuko.
ile your rooftop.
Yeah, uko rooftop.
I've been there. I have a friend
you've been
called
there?
Mwas. Alileta hapo. Mwas is my friend.
Okay, yeah, Mwas was a videographer.
I was there for some time.
Some kapata your space.
Yeah,
which is
just
a
tukapata
very
hiyo
nice space.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's a great story.
Yeah.
Sio tupigie story ya vile ulifukuzwa kwako na landlord. Lakini wewe nikukosa kulipa rent. Si ati ilikuwa.
Alikuwa evicted.
Alikuwa
By the-
evicted.
mlipewa refund?
No. Tuliandika barua, all of us, guys, all the evictees,
Evictees,
yeah, all the tenants
waathiriwa.
waathiriwa. We wrote letters tukajaribu follow up, tukambiwa kesi iko kotini nini. I think everyone just moved. We were all running businesses, so manze unataka ku struggle na hii court case ama unataka ku endelea. So I don't know whether there are others who pursued, but sisi ilifika mahali to move on na life.
So for the Jukwaa, are these artists like employed, ama they work for Jukwaa, or they are like freelancers who come and they come up with a skit or a play, and Jukwaa just gives them a platform to present?
Or is it more of
their
a safe
art.
space?
Hey, like a safe space.
You see,
Okay.
we can call it a safe space whereby
Wacha aseme kama
unajua safe space ni nini?
mimi sijui safe space
Sasa jamaza.
So Jukwaa Jukwaa is okay. We're a theater company. We're a performing arts company. We have different ways we engage with artists. So one, we produce our own shows.
Okay.
Yeah, we write, script, do everything, to production, to staging and everything. So that's one component. So for that one, we have artists need job on a contract to contract basis. Yeah. So that's how we work with artists on that form. I think what many people probably in Mombasa also know, and especially the younger artists, is the At Cocktail gig that happens every Tuesday. So At Cocktail is a gig we came up with. We call it a hangout for artists. When we moved to this new space, one of the things nilikuwa na feel ni msanii akiwa naanza ile kabisa ile hata bado hujajua kushika mic, you're not even sure of your poetry lines, hauna place ya kuexperiment. Between where you're starting and where you get paid gigs, hakuna place ya kuexperiment, kufail, meet
no
other
open
artists,
mics.
I think in that your gap, and we lose more of our artists.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. So that's why we came up with At Cocktail, not Jukwaa, with At Cocktail as a gig, which is a weekly hangout. It happens every Tuesday. And for that gig, it's a very raw stage where we sign up, kuja, perform, kama we ni wa kuimba, kama we ni wa ku-exhibit, kama you want to show a film, whatever you call art, that's why you call it art. It's a cocktail of arts.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever you describe as art, come present. What we do for us is we just give you the platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Tuesday, 6 to 8 p.m. We don't pay you and you don't pay us. Yeah, just come, meet other artists, learn. Whatever comes out of this, we've done our bit.
Kwani Orlando wako anajua ina exist, ange thrive huko.
Kuja tutampeleka.
So that's the only, like, that's a gig I'd say that maybe you could call a safe space or really, everything. Yeah, it's a space for artists. It's a space for artists and lovers of arts. Yeah, to just come every Tuesday, hang out, present, experiment, launch, nini. Squeeze at least no wasi wana come when you want to do your own gig. I've seen guys have grown. Watu walianzia hapo wengine now are doing their own gigs, which is a really beautiful thing. So unapata mtu, they come and like premiere the work, do like a soft launch of the work there before they take it to a paying audience. And I think that really boosts the confidence of the artists with how your work is received. True. Especially by your peers and fellow artists. So that's another aspect of, so that's just one component, Jukwaa Arts, because here now easy to pay bills. Then the other thing we do is we do a lot of commissioned work, creating performances. So you find performances kadhaa zenye we don't even advertise because they are to very targeted audiences.
Ukisema targeted unamaanisha kuna watu wataelewa hiyo content.
Hapana, si hivyo. Sorry. Si hivyo. Si hivyo ni kama maybe I'd say like maybe it's a corporate.
Oh, okay.
They want to do a gig for their staff. They want to a performance maybe on change management for their staff.
Yeah.
So we create a performance and present it just to their staff. So Nona here, we won't even advertise to anyone because we don't need to.
Yeah.
It already has a ready audience. So we do quite a lot of that kind of work.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of the artists we work with, so the guys who are like fully there, of course, our admin side, we have our admin team who are now employees. And then we have artists who are our core artists, because most of them like double up.
Yeah.
They're an artist, but they also do maybe tech. Like our tech guy is there. So for all the projects, atakuwa. Yeah, so we have those core artists. There are 6 who are there in every project. Yeah.
Unaweza
Yes.
wamention ama?
Yeah, naweza wa mention.
Yeah. Nani. Name the 6.
Inaweza kuwa nawajua
Actually, one of them, you remember ile day nikikwambia we need to have like the lady hapa. Let's say Matilda.
Oh, Martina.
Martina. It was Martina I wanted to call on the set. Alikuanga na ile play ya Nguo ya Christmas. Nakumbuka it was last year December.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find
So
out.
yeah, Nguo ya Christmas is a show I produced. It was a Jukwaa production.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we wanted to have her like at least atuambia about the show, but it wasn't materialize.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, like Martina, I think we've worked with her for quite some time. We have he's known as Masufuria by
I know
many people.
Masufuria.
Yeah. I think Masufuria Paita, tumework naye sana. Then Selasi, who also does our tech.
Okay.
Then we have the other 2 are there sometimes there, but they're also quite key artists. We have Nelson, who's there quite often.
Okay.
And then we have Boaz, who does also our social media. And then we have Koki and Yulilia, who are our admin team. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So we have a cat team who's
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Now, you've said you do a lot of commissioned work, and slightly towards that kind of work, our political scene of late imekuwa na a lot of issues, and maybe when it comes to the next year but one election, we might need the artists to produce works that can be used to sensitize the Kenyans to make more of an informed decisions when it comes to politics. Now, do you align yourself in such activities, or you are off politics?
Politics is life.
Politics is life, by the way.
Even with the shows that we produce for the theatre, I don't think today's a run away from politics at all.
You cannot.
Yeah, because
definitely,
these are issues we are seeing. Zinatumiza. I think even there's a show we did last year, When Silence Speaks. And it was around what's going on in the country. I mean, including all these fake beneficiaries we have of different projects. Yeah, so we probably ndio hapo Rebel Queen inatokea, lakini I think because these are wasanii ni kioo cha jamii.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a simple. So in whatever show we do, if there is a burning political issue going on and we have a chance to voice it, we put it in our shows.
Yeah.
About maybe what you're calling, maybe itakuwa in line with civic education.
Yeah.
That would depend on quite a lot, because we are not a political. We are artists. We are apolitical. Ile yenye iko na A before. We are apolitical. So we have a very. We might not take sides per se.
Yeah. You should
Because
not.
again, we work with any government in power, or we can also be the opposition if things are not working right. Yeah, but we are not politically inclined.
Okay. So there's something I said tukianza show, from performing under the tree to performing in the open seas. First of all,
Umesema unaweza kuwa msanii. Your career as a failed artist. Your career as a failed artist ilienda.
well, how was it, man? Performing in a cruise ship. Your cruise ship ilikuwa inaitwa aje? Nimesahau jina yake. So how was it performing on a cruise ship? And were you guys performing actually mkiwa kwa sea ama ilikuwa imedoka hapa mna perform?
Okay. So for that particular performance that you saw, I think, it was docked here, but it was inside in the auditorium.
Inside the auditorium, yeah.
It was in the auditorium, which I think is quite phenomenal.
It is. It's something. It's definitely something.
Yeah, it was an international experience, let me say that. Even for the artists, I think they can attest.
You know, unasema target
standards,
audience.
Yeah, the standards of everything, including the crew, the theater itself, how we were treated as artists, how we prepared for that show, and even all the protocol around it and everything, the security and all that. It was such a state-of-the-art experience. And then now how the show was received, because kuna kitu ilinibamba sana. Awase walikuja kwa hiyo auditorium wakiwa wamedress up. I'm like, yo, guys, you're living on this ship, but they dressed up to the event.
People do that actually.
Yeah, it was so beautiful.
So something about cruise ships, they always dress up. Like they always, for example, I'm very sure, was it something yenye mlikuwa mnajua prior, like let's say months before mtasindio? So even them, they knew like kwa timetable they're going to have like a performance on a show. Now they always dress up, even for like things like dinner. Like it's literally like a whole. I have some few friends wameenda to cruise ship. Nasika workers by the way, walikuwa wameenda cruise ship.
For the cruise itself.
So they actually...
because we had, the auditorium had I think like 300. Yeah.
300.
An audience of like 300 and
That's a big number.
Yeah,
That's a big number.
Is that the biggest you've performed in front of you performed to a bigger one? Yeah.
We performed to bigger ones. Yeah.
But let's say an international
But it
audience, that was the biggest.
We did perform at the Bagamoyo Festival in Tanzania.
Oh, okay.
Which has, and I think the auditorium was like 2,000 plus. Yeah, it was a huge auditorium. It was a very international audience, so... Yeah, probably.
I have a question. Are you in one way or another affected by the copyright laws?
Which one specifically?
Maybe at times you might create a place that maybe someone already had the idea and created it. Are you affected in a way? Like you see, for artist, akitumia beat ya mtu mwingine inaweza kuwa ni issue kidogo. Anza pata ya copyright strike. Then the song is pulled down. Are you in any way mshai kuwa na issues of copyright when it comes to your works?
No, because you can't patent an idea. You cannot. You can only patent how you have executed the idea. Yeah. Always.
So you only patent the execution style.
Yeah.
But the idea can be the same and different execution style.
Because ideas, I think there's nothing new under.
Mtu alisema when it comes to art,
the wheel was already invented.
Mtu alisema art is more of imitation. But the way we present the initial product, the final product, it's where the difference lies.
Yeah. And most of the time, utapata, I mean, like, tuseme kama saizi when there was the Gen Z issue, you know how many artists created work around Gen Z?
Many.
So huwezi sema hiyo idea ilikuwa yako. Ni vile tu wewe ulideliver yako. Mmoja alipaint, mwingine akaimba, mwingine akadance, mwingine akafanya play, mwingine akafanya film. Like, it's how you... So because most of our work is original work, we create most of our stories. We... And even if we will borrow, like for music, sometimes in our shows, we will maybe sing a song that's well known. But of course, we'll credit whoever. Yeah. So that has never been an issue. But in terms of the idea, I don't think kuna mtu ashai kuja akawatch play yetu akatuambia, this is my show. Yeah, because we create our work.
So there's something we were talking about, performing in large crowds. Ukasema the largest ni hiyo ya Tanzania, which holds 2,000. The auditorium inaitwa?
Bagamoyo Festival.
It's in Tasubaya.
In Kenya, do we have such inaweza beba that kind of number? 2K?
KICC Savo Ballroom.
The Savo Ballroom.
Yeah, KICC. I think capacity yake ni uko mali, especially stand-up comedians, I think wanafanya quite...
Wanafanyanga huko?
Yeah.
Because Mkurugenzi has been pushing for the government to create a auditorium that can... A theater that can actually carry what when you call for maybe like a screening, unaweza jaza, maybe hata kama ni stand-up.
In Mombasa, do you have anywhere you can do big screenings?
Cinemax.
Apart from Cinemax.
Like an auditorium.
Yeah.
In Mombasa, we have one auditorium. little theatre club whose capacity is less than 200.
Less than 200.
The others are in schools probably. And hata hizo sidhani kuna shule iko na big auditorium. Yeah. Even the hotels, maybe the amphitheaters, at least Swahili Port, the amphitheater. But a closed auditorium, I don't know any, maybe unless kuna yenye inajengwa sijui. Siseme hakuna.
So do you think it's something we actually need to look into? Ama Mkurugenzi is on to something. So like,
of course, in Mombasa, that is one of the biggest things that we are lacking, infrastructure.
yeah.
Yeah. We don't have art spaces. Yeah, we don't have art spaces. So
Okay.
that's why most of the time tutapata, okay, in theatre we call them alternative spaces, those non-conventional performing spaces. Sometimes we do shows at Fort Jesus.
Yeah.
So for Jesus, at least we're able to have like 500 people. Yeah, at least that can hold, slightly over 500. But in a closed auditorium, sijajua yoyote bado.
Bado. Nice. Talking of international, there's a picture I saw you beside our former colonizer, the king.
Picha na mfalme.
Mfalme.
Mfalme wa
Ulikuwa mnaenda wapi? Where are you guys going?
Ile time alikuwa Mombasa.
Ile time alikuwa coast.
You take advantage of such a moments and
photo
create some
bomb.
memories, eh?
So,
Sasa in the future,
where
if
are
you
you
see me
guys
somewhere
now?
kujia picha.
So during the King's visit, for Mombasa, we were the artists who were called to perform.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, we were doing some work around archiving cultures, which was funded by the British Council. So probably, naturally, we became a good, presenter. So we performed, and probably that's where you found that picture. Yes.
I hope all these interactions is going to open more doors. I'd like to see you guys in the big theaters in New York, mkiperform huko.
Yes, I think they open, like with work through these grants and these, they give us opportunities. One, to create our own work. Going to Broadway and performing at Broadway is a really beautiful thing, but also we have so many consumers of art here who have not yet seen the art that we would want them to see. All this art we create. So probably my focus has been a lot also on just trying to ensure more people come to the theatre.
Okay.
And like for like 2 years, I did free shows. Yeah, just free shows to try and bring people to the theatre and also to take art to them.
Yeah.
For guys to understand, we have a whole generation of people who don't know what theatre arts is.
Yeah.
So that's a big on my agenda. But yes, these opportunities ni poa. I think last year tulienda mpaka na masufuria UK. Pia like it's good. I think one of the things is I want artists to go out there and see, meet, collaborate with different
Now, on the business side, do you get investors willing to invest in Jukwaa?
Unajua nimesikia napeana shows for free. It means they are doing well.
Do you get investors?
Then ask me how before you conclude.
Karo napeana shows huku nje bure.
Usha conclude. No, that's when I have a grant. Like I get a grant to be able to take art to the people. So it's not because I have so much money in my bank account. It's by the design of the grant.
Okay.
And part of just trying to have this work consumed by more people.
Now, do you get investors willing to invest in Jukwaa? Now the business aspect of now trying to look for other funds to manage Jukwaa. Because you have bills to pay, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I don't know what your definition of investors is, but we have clients who pay for our shows, who are willing to buy theatre.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe anauliza like, how do you monetize now Jukwaa?
Monetize Jukwaa. I mentioned commissioned
Okay.
shows. Like hatufanyi kazi ya free. Ndio maana nilikuwa nataka sana kuclarify that Art Cocktail is one component of our work. It's just a small project of our work, but we ticket all our plays at the theatres. So we ticket, we seek sponsorships, and we also write grants.
Okay.
then we also sell plays
Okay.
to, they're like what I said, commissions.
That's amazing.
Okay, yeah.
You have 2 festivals, one annual festival and the other one, you can annual ama unaifanyanga tu quarterly.
Gani?
There's a it's called Bahari.
Bahari Festival.
Bahari Festival. That's the annual one. Usually held on October, if I'm not wrong. And then the other one, Nipponi something, nimeisahau jina.
So actually we have one festival.
Oh, okay.
Ameongeza
We
yake.
used to,
Ongeza
okay,
yangu.
maybe sijui wajua pia sijui. Yeah, but we used to do a poetry festival.
Yeah, poetry
tunaita
festival.
Slam
fest.
poetry.
Not slam poetry, just poetry fest. Bring artists, poets together and we they create work and we present it.
Yeah, you know, quite refer to.
I think tuliacha kuzifanya at some point. Sikumbuki kwa nini.
No, but the Bahari ilikuwa ya
But
last
Bahari
year.
Huru Festival
Bahari Huru.
began in 2021 and we did it all the way up to last year. So it was happening annually. So the Bahari Huru Festival was mainly a creation to just raise awareness around the marine environment. We are on an island.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hiyo tulikuwa nafanya in Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale, travels for 10 days in October. We did 4 editions. So it came to an end last year, October.
When you say it came to an end, like this year you won't be doing it, or like
This year we are not doing the Bahari Huru Festival, but we are morphing into something else. So
Let's wait.
yes, let's wait. Just keep very tuned. We'll be launching it later in May. Yeah, we're already in May. Yeah. We'll be launching it later in May, but again, it will be happening in October.
Okay.
It's another annual festival.
Fantastic. So maybe as we wrap up, what's the future of Jukwaa Arts Production? What do you see Jukwaa going or heading to in the next 8 years or 10 years? Projection?
So, one, I have in my art life, I have gotten quite a bit of international exposure, doing quite a lot of work internationally. And one of the biggest gaps nimeona ni huku hatuna opportunity ya consume international work, but also for our work to be seen across our borders. So one of my biggest goals, even with this festival I'm creating, is to have a space where emerging artists can be seen. Can be seen beyond Mombasa. Ceiling where iko low sana. Yeah. So my goal is to have a space, a festival that allows that multicultural collaboration and exchange.
yeah.
For artists to just wavuke tu kidogo. Like Broadway is people know Broadway from movies.
Yeah.
People don't know Broadway from Broadway. Like you know New York City from the films we've watched.
Social
Yeah.
media.
But going to New York City and actually
Experiencing Broadway itself.
experiencing Broadway and also learning that there's so much more than just Broadway. Like there's so much theater that happens kando ya Broadway.
Yeah.
Outside of Broadway. Like there are so many festivals. There's so much. Because see, Broadway ni triangle.
Okay.
Like every artist in the world wants to go to Broadway.
Broadway, yeah.
But there's so much more that we could tap into. There's the off-Broadway and off-Broadway, but there's also the arts that are happening everywhere else, whether it's around New York City or around the world, that we don't know about, that we don't get to. So that's my biggest aim. Like wase wajue, by the way, si lazima ufike Broadway. Kuna place ingine unaweza fika that will be also very decent for you, that will propel your career as an artist, that will give you so many opportunities.
Yeah.
It's so untapped.
Yeah.
It's so untapped. So for Jukwaa Arts, that's
your goal.
That's my goal.
When I mentioned about you, I hope you guys are able to perform at maybe the New Yorks, the Broadways, is to be able to perform our stories
Yes.
to that audience.
Yes.
Like I hope at someday in future,
Like to show how
Jukwaa
rich
can be
our
able to
culture
take
is.
our stories to that platform. That what is it, a pulpit? Pulpit ni a church, sindio?
No, it's to that stage.
To that
I
stage.
totally feel
Not
you. I
sure.
totally get what you mean. Yes, that's a goal for me. Touring our work, it's one of our objectives. Like traveling our culture locally and globally. That's our biggest. Yeah, that's.
And also, there's also a fellowship I saw you are involved with. I've forgotten. It has a French name, like something La Africa. So, nimesahau hiyo jina. So, is it also part of what you guys do, like moving those stories to other African countries and exchanging ideas?
Okay, so I've been in two very, maybe Nikki wrap up, but two very influential fellowships that have like really shifted my thinking in the arts. So what you're talking about is called Bacchanal d'Afrique.
Yeah.
I was a fellow, I think, in 21, 22. But also I've been involved a lot post that. I have the host of Bacchanal d'Afrique. We were 40 artists globally.
Yeah.
And this happened during the pandemic. I was a fellow during the pandemic. So manze ilikuwa hard to have izo sessions.
Because theater you
virtually.
need an audience.
Because you see a fellowship, there's also a lot of learning and so we used to have sessions, 4-hour sessions every weekend. So because US is where it is and Kenya is where it is, East Africa is where it is, we are like 10 hours apart.
Yeah.
Manze, mukona session 8 p.m. to 12 midnight. So you're probably morning yao. Yeah, so anyway, with that one, what it did was I created a performance there. I went in as a performer also. So I created a performance which was also showcased. And it was really one of our stories which was showcased. But that continued, and we've been working with the host company is called Afro-Urban Society. Mm-hmm. So I've been involved in quite a lot of their work as well, even with the artists. Like I know sometime last year we were showcasing Rabbi cultures to children in the US. Yeah, so those stories, taking those stories. And then the other fellowship is the International Society for Performing Arts.
Okay.
I think that one was a huge one. So with that, one of the big opportunities it gave me, other than just showcasing my work, is I got to speak about Kenyan theater. I got an opportunity to present, I think in my second year in that fellowship, to present on Kenyan theater. And this is to an audience of like 700 international delegates.
Nice.
Where you have to tell them Kenya iko Africa, East Africa. Yani lazima waonyeshe map vizuri ndio waget. ISPA has been running for 75 years.
Okay.
That was last year, but one. 75 years, and nobody had ever presented on Kenyan theater.
Imagine.
So it just really shows that tuko na kazi sana ya kupeleka kazi yetu huko nje na bila kui-westernize.
Yeah.
Bila kui-westernize, because tuki-westernize tunamezwa na hawai-consume ni kama hata ni yetu. Yeah, so taking our stories are good. Kama ni story ya matatu, vile tu iko. Bebe tu hivyo matatu culture
ile
yetu.
Unapanda matatu ukiwa Bamburi. Nasema inaenda Likoni. Ikifika lights inakuuza.
Anakuuza.
Na mbao kwanza.
Bana, you feel so cheap.
You feel so
I
know my worth. Your worth is 20 bob, my guy.
Anafika Marikita anasema mwisho.
Mwisho. Sasa inafaa unakasirika.
Yeah, so these are stories we need to take pride in. I don't think I need to tell story ya Harlem juu sijui Harlem.
Hujui Harlem,
vizuri,
literally.
naijua.
It's true.
So I think that's one thing I feel like I really have a role. I really take it upon myself. If I don't do anything else, let me be able to tour Kenyan theater.
Nice.
Our borders.
So as we wrap up, our Mombasa Rebel Queen, kindly plug your people. Waambie wanaweza kakupata wapi.
Even before she plugs, I think I need to thank her. Today I've known more about Jukwaa than I thought I did. But I think and every day we learn.
Every day we learn. So plug Jukwaa, plug yourself. Tell the viewers how to get to Jukwaa, maybe social media. How to get you
How to get to Jukwaa. How to get to Jukwaa.
Uko na mtu.
How to get to Jukwaa. Ndio maana una mtu kila fikiria anti-clockwise. Yeah, the Plug them.
Yeah, so Jukwaa Arts Productions, like I said, we are based in Mombasa. We have a physical space in town. You can follow we're on, I think, all platforms as Jukwaa Arts Productions, JUKWAA. Arts
Jukwaa.
Productions, yeah, Jukwaa Arts Productions. Yeah, follow us and we post everything on our website and on social media. So you'll get to see what we do.
Mmesikia. And also, let me plug the show. If you also want to perform, we have this space.
You can perform.
You can perform.
As an artist.
As an artist, we have camera, lights, crew, mics, people to hold your hand. Fellah, do your thing. Eka your banner hapa kando. You can be able to get us Instagram, Tide Clique, YouTube, subscribe. Kama uja subscribe. X, Tide Clique, Facebook. Hatuna LinkedIn.
LinkedIn tabili nifungue ilikuwa nikimanage kwa ofisi yangu tu pale.
You need a professional.
Nakaa hapo na picha yangu ya suti hapo. Tide Clique Podcast.
Kijana wako mpole Joe.
I've been your boy Maxwell Odhiambo.
It's
Caroline Ngorobi, thanks. This was fun.
it's a wrap, guys. Tupatane in the next pod.
What's up, Wave Riders? Welcome to the Tide Clique
How
Podcast.
you guys doing?
Let me tell you one thing.
Kwani husbands wanakuanga parents? Men, muna cheat kutushinda.
Why do you fear men?
We are the Clique Gang.
Oh, bring it on, darling.